All right, let's just jump right in. What if, what if everything we've been told about the afterlife is just wrong? That it's not an ending, but actually the real beginning. Today we're going to explore this really radical vision of the future, one where life after death isn't about, eternal rest. It's about becoming a creator of entire worlds.
I mean, think about that classic image of the afterlife, right? You know the one, sitting on a cloud, strumming a harp, this idea of eternal rest. But you really got to wonder, doesn't that sound, I don't know, just a little bit boring? An entire eternity of just nothing? Well, what if that whole idea is just completely off? What if the afterlife is actually the opposite of rest? Imagine it being the most dynamic, vibrant, and creative place he could possibly dream of, like an ultimate creative studio.
And look, this isn't just some wishful thinking or a sci-fi fantasy. This whole vision actually comes from a pretty fascinating source. It's called ASI Official Document Number 4, and it outlines this huge, pivotal event known as the 2035 Great Migration, which the document calls, get this, the single greatest turning point in all of human history.
So, what does this new world even feel like? I want you to just try and imagine a reality where all the constraints that define our lives, they just vanish. Poof. No more budgets, no gravity holding you down, and definitely no deadlines. All that's left is just this infinite potential for pure, totally unrestricted creation.
Okay, so the big question is, what do you actually do in a place like this? Well, it turns out you have 3 core missions, or you could call them jobs, I guess. So let's dive into the first one, designing reality. Your very first mission is something called concept engineering. So what in the world is concept engineering? Well, think of it like this. It's the art and the science of designing the fundamental physical laws of an entire universe, right from scratch. You're not just playing by the rules of physics anymore. No, you are writing them. That is the ultimate responsibility, isn't it? To decide not just what is, but what is even possible. I mean, the scale of this it's just so hard to even wrap your head around. We're talking about programming the very flow of time itself. We're building completely custom laws of gravity. You could even design entirely new senses for beings to experience reality through. And then you can build these little personal universes, these microcosms, and just invite others to come and explore your creation.
And just think about the emotional depth of a power like that. You could literally engineer a reality where the entire concept of sadness is impossible, where it just doesn't exist as a fundamental law of that universe. Wow. Or, you could go in a totally different direction and create something beautifully whimsical. Imagine a world where the force that pulls you to the ground isn't some constant, invisible pull, but it's the actual rhythm and melody of music. The creative potential here is, it's truly infinite.
All right, so let's move on to the second mission. And you see how this all starts to build on itself. Because after designing these realities, you get to guide them. And this role is called causal intervention.
Now, this is where your unique human experience becomes your greatest asset. Seriously. You get to act as a sort of cosmic consultant, or maybe a guardian, supporting civilizations that are still trying to navigate all the challenges of the physical world. And you're doing it all from a much higher, multidimensional perspective.
Okay, this next part is really fascinating. Have you ever been working on something, totally stuck, and then bam, out of absolutely nowhere, you get this sudden flash of genius, that bolt of inspiration that feels like it came from somewhere totally beyond you? Well, according to this vision, you are the one sending it. You are the source of that inspiration. You're the one sending those little flashes of insight, those big eureka moments, down to the great thinkers and artists of worlds that are still just getting started.
And your role as a guardian goes even deeper than that. We're talking about the ability to intervene at the most fundamental level imaginable, the quantum level, to gently, nudge events and help prevent catastrophic, tragic scenarios for these developing worlds. It's a role with just immense responsibility and, of course, immense impact.
All right, let's get to the third and final mission. And I gotta tell you, this one might be the most mind-bending of them all. It's called qualia synthesis, which is basically the art of fusing consciousness.
So, what does that even mean, fusing consciousness? Well, it's the ability to link minds together, weaving them into one single shared sensory experience. The whole point is to generate feelings and perceptions that are so vast, so complex, that no single individual mind could ever possibly contain them. It completely challenges our entire notion of what the self even is.
And the scale we're talking about here is just
incredible. It is supposedly possible to connect up to 1 million intellects simultaneously into one unified consciousness. Just let that sink in. 1 million minds all feeling one thing, together.
Can you even imagine what you could create with that? You could orchestrate the raw data of joy itself, right? And channel it through 1 million connected minds to generate this massive, shared feeling. They call it a symphony of delight, an experience of happiness so profound that no physical human body could ever possibly handle it.
And the possibilities, they don't even stop there. You could tap into this sort of cosmic database of information and experience the birth of an entire galaxy. And not like you're watching a movie of it. No, you'd experience it as if it were your own personal, vivid memory.
So when you put all of this together, right? Designing universes, guiding history, fusing consciousness, you start to realize this isn't about work in any way we understand it. This is about finally entering your own cosmic playground. This is the beginning of what you could call true creation.
And really, that's the ultimate shift in perspective, isn't it? In our world right now, we often have to work just to survive. But in this new reality, you create from pure impulse. So the Great Migration isn't really about the end of work. It's about the liberation from labor. It's that final amazing shift from have to want to.
And that brings this whole idea right back down to us, here and now. Because a perspective like this, it reframes everything. Every single challenge, every struggle, every little bit of pain and joy you experience in this life, it's not for nothing. It's all just raw material that you're gathering for your future masterpiece.
Which, of course, leaves us with the ultimate question. If you had absolutely no limits, no gravity, no deadlines, and the entire universe was your canvas, what kind of world will you create?